You're listening to The Blind Chick, an Aftersight original podcast. We're telling you stories about strength, overcoming hurdles, and living experiences. We see who you really are. Blindness can be an adventure. Are you ready for the journey of a lifetime? We are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Blind Chick with Penn Street and Moses Street. And we are back with part 2 of our Hosts Unleashed episode. This has been such a fun episode. We've got Kim Wardlow of Navigating Life with Vision Loss, Bill Lundgren with Blindsight, Evan Starnes with the Blind Level Tech, and then, of course, Penn and Moses Street with The Blind Chick. But if you didn't catch it, last week we unveiled a brand new show, Code Orange, which is going to be coming out in the fall. So you're going to want to be listening for more information on that, called Code Orange. It's an accessible podcast where we talk about all things emergency preparedness and what to do when, if, and during emergency situations. So you're going to want to check that out. But enough of me rambling. Here's all of the hosts again, unleashed. Let's go.
Well, as I know everybody has been waiting with bated breath for segment 3. It's the deep dive into Aftersight's podcast. So just a little more information. And because we're starting with Kim Wardlow, it's overview of the show's mission, notable guests and topics, upcoming episodes and or goals. Take it, Kim Wardlow.
So the mission, I would say, is to help, just like the title of the podcast says, to help people navigate their life when they are in the process of losing vision or have lost vision. Many of the folks that traditionally have been listeners to Aftersight's programs, our audio editions of publications that our volunteers read, have been older adults that have lost vision later in life, and also folks who are younger, maybe because of an accident or they've been in military service and have had an injury. I mean, there's lots of reasons that people may lose vision. And of course, we have some folks that have always been blind and will have grown up learning skills and things. But for folks that it's new to them and they've been used to doing things all their lives a certain way, and all of a sudden they need to switch, or it would be good if they, since they know they're losing vision, if they could proactively start to learn about ways to do things with less vision. That's really the goal. And we've had so many different topics, everything from like really, really practical types of things like dealing with healthcare systems and medical visits, education, transportation, finances, money, and those types of topics as well. Cooking. So I think it's kind of, to me, NLVL is kind of the practical program. I think of the Blind Chick as the fun program. But we're kind of, the practical, but a big variety of different things. We're not all serious, but I think of it as being a little bit more on the practical side. But we did have some fun holiday programming, as well as last summer we covered a topic of summer fun and all kinds of things you could do, outdoors, and of course we have Aftersight. We have our hike each year in the fall, end of summer, beginning of fall. So just covering all those kinds of things, and I think that's the goal, is really to continue to get feedback from folks on what is helpful to them and what they need. I think sometimes there's a perception that, oh, well, it's online. It's not a problem. It's available. It's right there online. And even if you have a screen reader and you're pretty tech savvy, it might not matter if the website wasn't created to be accessible. So just all of those sorts of things. We found that there's really still a need for some of this information that it might be out there, but it's not easily accessed. And so trying to get that out to folks.
Yeah, it's exciting. So Evan, with Blind Level Tech, I mean, gosh, you've covered so many topics. Even taking on some of the big guys like Apple versus Android, AI driven screen readers, things like that, wearable tech. And I know you've also been through, you were doing Blind Level Tech with Jonathan as a co-host, and then you had Kelvin, who was amazing, and now he's moved on to, different things. And now you're back, you're a one-man show now. Where do you see Blind Level Tech over the next year, even 5 years?
Ooh, that is a very, very loaded question. I was thinking about this because I was like, man, how am I gonna keep this concise? I feel like BLT is like, it's a practical and a fun show, so it's safe to call it a fractical show. I gotta say, it's a fractical show. I think so. BLT started originally. Jonathan actually was the host of it, and we started with the basics, just covering things like phones, what iPhone versus Android, which one's better for you, and TVs, and then we eventually covered all the basics, and it eventually became a matter of getting feedback from our pack, and then just the blind low vision community at large, and we ended up branching out to a lot of cool topics. I remember at least some off the top of my head. Well, actually, Kelvin, I think he was among the first of our guests on the show. And that's actually how I'd first heard about things like the See Me cane and stuff like that. And then, we had the Blind Boys of Alabama on for a couple episodes to talk about fun things like audio gear. We've had Marty Sobo. I'm going to toot the horn a little bit because BLT was the first podcast that Marty was on, and it kind of, it's like once you're on one podcast, you're almost guaranteed to be on every other podcast, and we've had a lot of cool topics, and BLT has gone through so many different iterations. A lot of people are familiar with the sandwich of the week. That wasn't originally a part of the show. I actually remember I think it was chilling at home. I don't know if it was when I was still part-time, but we wanted to find some way to implement some like sandwich humor. It's BLT after all. And, it kind of helped the show stand out because, you could always say tech, 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 and just stick to just tech. But the fun part about the sandwich of the week is it kind of, shies away a little bit from the massive hustle and bustle of technology. And, it was a fun way to explore some new sandwich ideas or sandwich places, or just goof around for a couple minutes. And that kind of became, that's anytime anybody brings up Blind Level Tech, that's what they say, like even my family listens to it, and they'll sing the sandwich of the week jingle just to to tease. Now to answer your question, as far as where do I see the show in, this is like the whole like interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Really, I want to continue to focus on what makes the show not only educational and beneficial, but just fun. Because I think fun for me is the most important aspect of what makes a podcast a podcast. What keeps people coming back and listening. And so I really want this to be, the technical resource for folks that are, maybe newly blind or low vision, or have always been blind or low vision. They just maybe, tech wasn't their thing.
Right.
And I'm hoping to see this as kind of the, just another avenue of, breaking down those technological barriers, because, to some people, technology is like, oh yeah, this is, I know it's like the back of my hand. To others, it's like, what is this newfangled whatever it is? I want to break down those barriers completely. And, that's honestly, I want to keep, probably going to keep doing what we're doing, and, just continue to refine the show, maybe add a couple little, exciting, fun things at the beginning. I will say I can't believe I forgot BLT Bytes, because that's another
That's
big
true. Yeah.
aspect of the show. But yeah, BLT Bytes, to keep it simple. Always wanted to do some sort of immersive demo of, of products. And, we're trying to figure out, how do we implement that into, just regular episodes without it completely just trouncing the rest of the show. And I had toyed around with the idea of the bites. So we started doing them back in, gosh, I think April, May, or something like that. They've been going on for a while, but it's now kind of the new fun way. A new product comes out, you get to listen to the unboxing and the demo, but then you get to listen to the full deep dive episode of the product. It's a unique format.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it. It's like you do talk, we have a lot of, like Kim mentioned, seniors that are losing their vision, and they really do turn to places like Blind Level Tech. Evan has been on our low vision support group many times talking about tech. Some of them have even come into the office and, Evan, help. So
yeah, we'll sit down and do some training.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're really awesome about, you're so patient, and the way you train, you can take somebody who is absolutely brand new to voiceover, or even how to turn their phone on the first time without vision, but yet you also are super, super intelligent and really, to me, advanced tech as well. So I think you're the perfect person that covers the entire gamut of that.
I'm a nerd.
So this is, to me, psychotherapy is, I'm a huge advocate for it, and there should not be a stigmatism, because, like, to me, if you're physically ill, you have no problem telling everybody about it. But if it's mentally ill, there's no difference. They're both just an illness, and in most cases can be fixed. And so, Bill, take it over, is why you can do your own part, but the talk points where mental health needs its own space, impact topics and guests, upcoming themes.
Well, I think the thing that is difficult, as you say, with mental health, is trying to make it approachable to people, because people get very scared. And many times they think mental health means mental illness.
Right.
Mental health covers the whole gamut. And in fact, we will never run out of topics. And one of the things that's been interesting recently, we've been going in depth in the 12-step program of AA, because people know about it, but really don't understand it, and don't understand its way that it applies to life in general, not just for alcoholics or addicts. And I try very much to make it broad-based, so that people with blindness feel different from everybody else. That's just the reality. And one of our guests talked about perfectionism as being one of the things that he was stuck with and had to heal, because as a blind person, he felt different and had to be better than in order to be equal to. And that's the kind of dilemma that we all get into, whether we have any kind of disability, is this feeling of being different. So what I'm trying to do, and will continue to be a goal, is to bring it down to a natural level. Like, this is what happens. This is what you have to. If this happens, you need, or someone you love, this happens to. This is what you need to do, and it's no big deal. And to try to, there are some things where people with blindness have a higher rate of addiction than the rest of the community, for a lot of different reasons. And I just point that out just so people who may be wondering about their drinking or their whatever. This is this is what you check out. And in that way, so I'm much more into the educational kind of thing and trying to make all of this human rather than some scary thing that a lot of people see. And to try to bring on some people who've had experiences so people know that you can recover, and then also understand things like emotions. We all have emotions, but we don't have access to it. So try to make it more normal for people. And we're doing a show on just naming the emotion, not as a psychological problem, but just everyday kind of thing of being aware, so that we can, as a blind person, we know we're normal, or we should know that we're normal. We have normal feelings, and to be able to put it in that context so it's not so scary. It's a little bit hairy to try to bring some humor into some of this, but we do our best but for so many people it's so scary, and that's what I want to take away, is the scariness of it. And we'll be concentrating on mental health, what you have to do for mental health to keep yourself healthy, and also to help people maybe see that they can be their own worst enemy. That is the belief that they have, like perfectionism, and I've had that, is a barrier. And if they can let go of that and just be the kind of person they're capable of being, that's where we start to have success. And that's what I'm kind of focused on. And I like the idea that we've started where we've stayed with particular issues for a little while so people can really get it in depth. So we're going to try to do that and get people out there to feel not so strange. And also to take away the idea that a mental health issue is due to my blindness, when really it may have been caused, like, for example, if someone has an accident because of their drinking, they may lose their sight, but that doesn't mean the blindness caused the difficulty they're having, and sort of separate that. What is the blindness and what is it that we're capable of doing?
Right.
And to give people hope, which is the important thing. No matter what, always to have hope.
And that's all so important.
Yeah.
And once you get over the fear and start talking to a therapist, it just opens up your world like you can't imagine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway,
you don't have to be afraid of the therapist.
Yeah.
Take
it, Penn.
Okay. Well, Marty, can you share some of maybe the topics and the most practical advice that you're kind of looking for from your guests that are coming on, and maybe even share the kind of guests that you're looking for your show, so that our audience out there might be able to fill in some of those?
Yeah. So we want to be able to definitely, I guess, first and foremost is educate people so that it's not so scary when the time actually comes to put it into action.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you have to evacuate, whatever situation that is, are you going to have a plan? Are you going to be able to execute that plan? Are you going to have a go bag ready? Are you going to be able to get a hold of family members, and especially, making sure that you have the tools that you need, and being able to make that happen if you're on your own. Because if you are someone who is, not able to drive, for example, and you're by yourself at home, how are you going to get out of a situation or be able to have a ride arranged, talking to your neighbors and making sure that you have people to call and, a plan if you do need to evacuate. having things at other people's houses, like family members. For example, maybe if you have to run out of the house and you can't get stuff, maybe an extra white cane, maybe stuff. If you have a dog or a guide dog, maybe you want to have extra supplies for your dog at a family member's house, or possibly in a safe deposit box. Or how are you going to get all this stuff together and know where it is and keep it safe, like a fireproof safe or anything like that. So we're looking for all the topics across the gamut. So when it comes to emergency preparedness, evacuation, even mental health, it's considered, trauma.
Yes.
So, it would be under that. So all the things. So we just want to make sure that we can make people as prepared as they possibly can be. So it's not as scary, hopefully, anyway. That would be the goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am so excited for it to launch. Well, we are coming to an end, but I did not want us to end until I got a chance for all of us to thank Jonathan. Jonathan really, Evan was the very first person that edited my podcast. It was so many years ago, and he did a great job, but we all knew really to take it to the next level. And also Evan had his regular job to do.
Yeah, somebody dedicated.
Other things. Evan has a regular job.
But we brought Jonathan on, and really that is when the true magic, the true growth really happened. He really lifted us up and put us on a global scale. And so I know, Jonathan, we all feel this way, but we want to really thank you for all that you've done and that you continue to do, not only for the podcast, but for Aftersight in general. So I know I'm putting you on the spot, but what do you see is the next big step for Aftersight's podcast?
Well, first of all, I'm so glad to be a part of this organization, and it's been so much fun as I was just listening to all the different guests and all the things you guys have talked about, and I was sitting here trying to calculate just how many episodes we've put out since I came on 3 years ago. By the time this actually comes out, it'll be my 3rd-year anniversary. We, as Aftersight, have produced just about 500 episodes.
Wow.
Of various podcasts. That's not including shows like Game Changers.
Right.
And we still have yet to add on Marty's show, Code Orange, which is going to be incredible. But to see the growth that we have at the beginning, we've said Aftersight needs to be a hub for the blind and low vision community. Yeah. Well, I was joking with Kim a while back, and we were laughing because, well, now we're a hub, and now we don't know what to do with it. And we have people coming out of the woodworks to come, like, what do we do about this? And how do we do this? And what do we,
asking us all sorts of things. Yeah.
It's such a really cool problem that we didn't anticipate. But that also goes to really point back to you guys as the host and saying how amazing you guys are at preparing yourselves for these guests and getting them to open up and to realize their potential and maintaining those friendships and contacts. And so for Aftersight in the future, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
We have so many other shows that we want to develop and bolster and do that, one, we just don't have the bandwidth for, which is a really cool problem. And at the same time, we have so many amazing guests come on, and we're always looking for new guests. And so, in this last 6 months or so, we were notified that, we're in both Blind Chick and Blind Level Tech are in the top 10% of all podcasts in the world, not just the US. That we're such a niche community and a niche podcast subset that to have that recognition is just beyond amazing. And so for Aftersight going forward, I think truly that the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of the host because you guys have grown. You guys have stepped way out of your comfort zones for some of you. And
that's an understatement.
The thing that I love about my particular job is getting to coach you guys and to speak into you and help you out when things are going crazy and then my system fails, and then I look like the doofus. And so it's just fantastic. And so we have built such a wonderful community that I'm just so blessed to be a part of it. So thank you guys. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you do. You're awesome
Thank
with
you.
all of us.
Yeah. And everybody out there.
do what we do without you.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without you. Literally.
I appreciate
we
that.
couldn't.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like, obviously, I can't even make my microphone work. So,
Yeah. And everybody out there, thank you for showing up week after week, listening to our podcasts, coming on the show, or recommending people coming on the show. You're the ones that have made us a success, and will continue to lift up the other shows as well. Thank you guys for coming on today. I know this is really eaten into your day, so I really appreciate it.
It was
Big
fun.
favor. I'm sure there'll be payback soon. But Evan and Marty and Bill and Kim and Jonathan, and yes, you too, Moses. Thank you all for making this world a better place for all of us. And check out all the shows. We're there, and we're all here week after week, and a lot of topics like you've just experienced, and all of them are really important. So be kind to yourselves this week, and find a way to be kind to somebody else. It's good for your soul.